The movie opens with Lee and Fodes secretly surveilling a drug gang's headquarters. Before the raid, Lee gives Fodes a watch as a keepsake. Inside, the building appears empty, so they leave and continue watching from outside. The thieves, hidden inside, suddenly emerged and fired, injuring Lee. Fodes counterattacked fiercely, killing all but one. As Fodes relaxed, the last attacker stabbed him, turning the tide until Lee intervened and struck first. Lee ordered roads sealed and civilians evacuated, fearing an explosion. Though the threat was stopped, Lee died. 4 months later in Nevada, police chased a gang after a daring heist, but a thief hacked their communications, letting the criminals escape at the last moment. That night, it was confirmed the gang stole $10 million from a city casino. Banks led the heist, with veteran Lawson as the mastermind. Afterward, Lawson fled in the getaway car, wiping all traces. After Lawson left, Banks and his crew found a ticking bomb in the loot bag, trapped with no escape. Banks realized Lawson had betrayed them, stealing the money and setting the trap. Desperate, Banks tried to disarm the bomb while Lawson prepared to detonate it remotely. Banks disabled the bomb just in time, thwarting Lawson's trap.
Just do it. Oh shit!
Determined, he vowed to hunt Lawson down and ordered their hacker Geary to track him via a hidden locator. Meanwhile, Fodes enjoys a quiet day with his daughter but grows uneasy when Kim plans to meet a friend, sensing danger ahead. After his daughter left, Fodes readied for a hunting trip, but an urgent call from the police chief changed everything. Kim was accused of shoplifting. At the station, Kim was questioned about her link to Larson, while Banks and his crew sought the chief's help to track Lawson. Each side pursued their own goals, unaware of looming danger. Lawson hid deep in the forest, heading toward the border, while Banks' crew struggled to follow. At the police station, Fodes spotted 2 of Banks' men outside. As he approached, Dominica stepped forward, gun drawn and ready to strike. Fodes demanded an explanation, and Banks calmly said he was seeking the chief's help to track a fugitive in the forest. When the chief refused, Banks and his crew seized the police station, where Fodes' daughter Kim was held. Sensing the tension, Fodes offered to help Banks find Lawson on one condition: Kim and the police chief be released. Banks agreed to free Kim, but coldly executed the chief to eliminate resistance. Just then, one of Banks' men aimed a gun at Fodes from behind. Fodes reacted, but his weapon was empty. With Kim's life on the line, he had no choice but to obey. Fodes hid the fact that Kim was his daughter. When Banks' crew took her hostage, the hunt for Lawson began. They found his car and the tracker, but lost his trail in the forest. Frightened by the gang's threats, Kim was quietly reassured by Fodes, who promised they'd find a chance to escape. Fodes saw Kim ask Dominica for a moment alone, then heard her terrified screams. One of Banks' men was assaulting her. Enraged, Fodes stormed in and took the attacker down. Realizing things were spiraling, Banks ordered Jensen to eliminate Fodes and remove any loose ends. Suspecting a deeper bond, Banks aimed his gun at Fodes. In a panic, Kim cried out, calling him Dad, revealing their secret. Amid the chaos, the hacker tried to stage a coup but soon faltered, worn down by exhaustion and thirst as the hunt dragged on. Frustrated by the hacker's attitude, Jensen forced him to drink his own urine, igniting a violent brawl. In the chaos, Fodes urged Kim to flee, but Banks stepped in, warning he'd kill them both if they tried again. After a long day's march, the group stopped to rest and quickly fell asleep. Fodes seized the moment to free Kim, but was caught and slapped by Jensen. The next morning, they resumed the chase toward the Canadian border. Along the way, Fodes found a partially burned map, evidence Lawson had camped nearby, confirming he was close. While resting in a tree, the hacker stumbled upon the corpse of Fodes' missing friend, the hunter. After confirming his death, Fodes concluded Lawson once part of Banks' crew, was behind it. They pressed on and soon found Lawson slumped against a tree, injured and exhausted, likely from a fight with the hunter. Banks immediately questioned Lawson about the stolen money, but Lawson mocked them as gullible thieves and refused to talk. Enraged, Dominica and the others executed him. With Lawson dead, the crew lost hope until Kim suggested searching the river near his hideout, suspecting he may have stashed the money there. Kim suggested searching the river to distract the gang and delay her and Fode's execution, as they were considered expendable. When they found the money perched on a cliff's edge, too dangerous to reach, Fode seized the moment, offering to retrieve it in exchange for Kim's freedom. Banks coldly refused the deal, promising to free Kim only after getting the money. After a difficult climb, Fode secured the cash. But as Banks took it, he opened fire on Fodes and Jensen, then cut the rope, sending them plunging into the ravine below. As Banks prepared to kill Kim, she revealed an escape route, convincing him to spare her. Following her lead, the group left the forest. Along the way, Jiri, drawn to Kim, hinted at a relationship, but she rejected him, fueling his anger. Jiri violently attacked Kim, but Dominica swiftly intervened, protecting her and overpowering Jiri. Frustrated, Banks and the gang abandoned Jiri. Meanwhile, Fodes, wounded but alive, buried himself to heal and hide. Finding a backpack with emergency supplies, he discovered a crossbow, a weapon that could turn the tide. After a long, exhausting day, Banks and the gang decided to rest, with Jensen revealing all their food was in Jiri's backpack. Meanwhile, Jiri, still alive, dined lavishly alone, but stayed on edge, fearing a wild animal attack in the isolated forest. Fodes quietly readied his arrows and launched a swift counterattack, taking out the isolated Jiri with a precise crossbow shot. Upon learning Kim was heading to the border, he quickly devised his next move. The next morning, as Banks and his gang pressed forward, Kim remained convinced her father was still alive. Confident her father was alive and searching, Kim left a subtle clue. As the group moved on, Jensen paused to light a cigarette. Spotting him alone, Fodes confronted Jensen, sparking a fight. Despite Fode's size, Jensen's skill and strength quickly overpowered him. Fodes ended the fight by stabbing Jensen with a sharp wooden shard. When Banks and Dominica got no response, they abandoned Jensen. Confident her father had survived, Kim pressed on. Near the Canadian border, Fodes reappeared, throwing a heavy log at Banks, sparking their final showdown. The log struck Dominica, killing her instantly and enraging Banks. He threatened to kill Kim if Fodes interfered again, then aimed at Fodes. But Banks fell into a trap and tumbled into a ravine. Seizing the moment, Banks urged Kim to continue toward the nearest border. Fodes recovered and tracked Banks, who had reached the border with Kim. To avoid detection, Banks killed 3 campers. Running out of bullets, he planned to knock Kim unconscious and escape on a motorcycle. At that moment, Fodes appeared and urged Kim to get help. At a nearby settlement, Banks hid as engines approached, signaling danger. Sensing Fodes was near, he fled to an abandoned warehouse. After a fierce struggle, Fodes defeated him and left with a bag of money, proof of his survival and triumph. Kim reunited with her father just as Banks arrived.
Daddy.
Banks insulted her, sparking Fodes' fury. Fodes rammed Banks with a motorcycle, triggering a fatal explosion. With Banks gone, Fodes rescued Kim, and after days of danger, they were finally together again.